Mr. Kesavan, I'll tell you a bit of contemporary history, not 52-year-old history.
Please.
I'm coming, Sudhanshu Trivedi, I'm coming to you after this. Contemporary history, which will be good for you, since you couldn't answer my previous question. Sir, you will remember that there was a... 1 minute. I told you about A.K. Antony's visit and for peace and tranquility. A.K. Antony was asked, why are you going to Beijing? There has been a 21-day military standoff. Your army is suffering. They are putting up dead tents and banner drills, and the PLA troops have come 19 kilometers into our territory. The Indians are being abused and insulted and humiliated. And Mr. Antony, why on earth at a time like this are you going to China? You know what Mr. Antony said? He said, I'm going to find peace and tranquility. Now, I don't know if he has a secret Shaolin master there. But my question to you is, you can't answer my previous question by saying, I have an old relationship with the Communist Party of India. Sir, you humiliated. They humiliated us in your tenure. They humiliated us in your tenure. You have no moral rights.
You're asking the Congress Party questions.
I am asking you because you are trying to take a high moral ground tonight. Because you discovered...
They have the mandate. Why are they not? Why has the BJP government failed to stop...
Sudhanshu Trivedi, the question being put back to you. Question being put back to you. The Congress Party says, yes, we messed up. Yes, we were pusillanimous. Yes, we made mistakes. Yes, our defense minister did nothing.
Arnab, you're twisting my words.
Okay, I have a right to be sarcastic. It's all right, sir. It's all part of a debate, nothing personal. The question is, Sudhanshu Trivedi, Congress Party rightly asked you, what on earth are you doing? What happened to you? Is this what you promised the people of India?
It's not so easy, both in the contemporary history and the 52-year-old history, that you are saying just by, you get off scot-free by just saying you have messed up. When China was making dams on Brahmaputra river, they were having more than 10,000 troops in Ladakh, and they were writing on the walls. And it was a clear-cut satellite
They are still
picture.
doing that.
They were capturing...
They are still doing all that, and you are being able to do nothing.
Gwadar. Even they were involving in Maldives. What you were doing? They were doing nothing. And in that situation, even General Bakshi was saying that in the 52 years, they have not strengthened the supply lines, road and infrastructure along the border. It was our government who has taken a stand within 15 days to clear at least the environmental hurdle should be cleared off. This is a clear-cut mandate. Another thing, Communist Party of India is saying 52-year-old history cannot be taken away with a very strong fact that some of the left parties have supported Chinese
Mr. Raja
in 1962. And then the Congress defense minister is saying we are having old ties with the Communist Party.
Yeah.
That Communist Party which supported China in 62.
Arnab.
Yeah.
And then this such a blatant,
Arnab.
disastrous, anti-national stand.
Arnab.
We cannot get say, oh, it's 52-year-old. I want to ask Mr. D. Raja, is he ready to apologize and say that the stand of the Communist Party at the time was wrong in 1962 and they should apologize to nation?
Are, come on, let me answer to you. Let me answer to you.
BJP government today,
as far as CPI is concerned, we never supported the Chinese aggression, and we called it Chinese aggression. We condemned the Chinese position. As far as CPI, we did not take a different stand, and don't call it as anti-nationalist stand. We know what is nationalism, what is patriotism. We don't need to learn from anybody what is patriotism, what is nationalism. We were in the forefront of the freedom movement in this country, and you go to the history and let us not make it as a cheap politics here, cheap polemics here. Let me come to some valid points.
Fine. Far from an apology, you got... No. 1 second.
Communist Party of India, not Indian Communist Party. Your title in India is Bharat Ki Communist Party.
This is amazing.
Communist Party.
This is amazing.
You consider yourself not...
No, this is... No, 1 second. By the way, 1 second, Mr. Raja, Mr. Trivedi. 1 second. Mr. Raja, Mr. Trivedi, just stop for a minute. In this election campaign... No, 1 second, Mr. Raja, I'll come to you.
You are distorting history. What do you know in Indian history? You are distorting history. And I am representing Communist Party of India. You should trust me.
So I am telling you...
The Communist Party of India. You are not. That is why I am telling you.
I am
there is a
asking
Chinese
Mr.
saying,
Trivedi.
We should arrive at truth based on facts.
No,
and
Mr.
you don't have facts, but you are accusing
Professor
Communist Party of
Chenoy,
India.
Professor
You
Chenoy, there are
questioning the
three facts on the news hour tonight.
nationalism of the Communist
Three
Party of
facts.
India. Who
Three
are
fa-
you?
three
Where were
fa-
you when we were fighting against British colonialism for the independence of this country? So don't try to teach patriotism and nationalism to Communist Party of India. Now what is the problem? Problem today. The problem is India and China lack mutual trust.
Why are you
Trust to in
why
each
are you
other.
trying to blame both sides
The
equally?
every
No, why, Mr. Raja, are you trying to blame both sides equally?
Listen to me.
No, I listen to you, but you are blaming both sides equally.
Yearly resolution to the border disputes is important for mutual trust.
Yeah, but that's
and
a
mutual
slogan.
cooperation.
They are on our borders.
And this
They have increased their mobilization.
anti-China campaign at this point of time is to push India to American camp at the time of Indian Prime Minister's visit to America. It is America which is trying to firm up itself.
I'm
for
sorry.
war
This
or
is
military
ridiculous.
cooperation, defense cooperation.
I'm sorry, Mr. Raja. Mr. Raja, this is one of the most, this is one of the most,
I am sorry.
Mr. Raja, I'm sorry, I have great respect for you. I have great respect for you. I have tremendous respect for you, Mr. Raja. Mr. Raja, as a politician, as an individual, as a humanist, I have great respect for you. But I must observe here that despite all my respect for you, this is one of the most ridiculous theories you've ever put. You are saying that China has been aggressive towards India to force India towards the American camp?
This is the ridiculous design which you
Sir,
have
this
in
is
your
impossible.
argument. Otherwise, you speak the truth. You speak the truth of India and
I don't know, Mr. I think I'll get Mr. Dasgupta, Dr. Dasgupta and Professor Kamal Mitra Chenoy to respond to this.
Listen to me.
Sir, you are saying that
BRICS. India is part of Shanghai Cooperation. India and China are working together. Now,
so why are you sounding like an apologist for China?
Each other. There should be. I am speaking for my own country. Do you think India and China can go for a war at this point of moment? What are you talking? In the
responses, please.
Times Now channel.
Who is arguing for a war? You're arguing for standing up for yourself. You confuse the facts. One second. I would like to know if Kamal Mitra Chenoy or Swapan Dasgupta want to come in at this stage because they've been quiet for a long time. 1 second. Swapan Dasgupta is coming back to you. 1 second. 1 minute. Swapan Dasgupta, please. By the way, don't take it otherwise, sir. I think you're being very soft. And I'm sorry, but you're sounding like an apologist for the Chinese on this subject to say that China has been aggressive to India to push us towards Washington. Swapan Dasgupta can respond to this one, please. Yeah. By the way,
I am talking about you.
Fine. You can say what you want to me, sir. I still have respect for you. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Dasgupta.
Look, Mr. Raja may be on firm ground when he says that the CPI, as opposed to the CPM, actually supported China. So it was actually the CPI which said it was an aggressive movement. So factually on that point he's quite correct. But I think we have to take a larger view of what constitutes the larger Chinese game. When Mr. Modi used the term expansionist in Tokyo, he raised a lot of hackles within India as well as in China itself. But if you really look upon the larger designs of China, you will see that it is using its considerable and admirable economic clout to arm twist basically the rest of Asia into adopting a subordinate status. And India doesn't as yet fit into their scheme of things, but with India they believe they have a border, a vulnerable border in which they have the upper hand in which to force the issue. So they want to say that look, you enter into our cooperation, you enter into our agreements as a price to be paid for a certain degree of peacefulness.
Why doesn't the Modi government say no?
That's the sort of intellectual blackmail.
1 second, Swapan Dasgupta, Mr. Dasgupta, if that is the case, 1 minute. Why
you're quite right. You're quite right. And I think the first indications of saying no have come with the border start.
Why did Modi have to? Why did Modi have
more
to?
aggressive verbal point?
No, but why did Modi have to have this summit level kind of meeting?
Repeating ad nauseum. You build up diplomatically, you must first build up your military capacity. You must build up your border
capacity is
and
no
that
argument
hasn't
on
been
this one.
Done for so long.
No, capacity
and
is-
therefore, there is no point in shouting, no, we hate you, we get out, etc. Invite a certain thing which you are incapable of dealing with.
So what, Mr.
You
Dasgupta
manage
was...
the problem.
No, Mr. Dasgupta...
You have acknowledged a problem.
No, Mr.
You
Dasgupta,
have
1
said
minute.
No
1 minute.
more.
1 minute.
Basically, you have said no more.
No, if you've
And
said
that's
no
the
more, then
important
we
thing.
want to know just
That's what I
why
said.
did you
You've
have...
reversed your old China policy.
Sir, they have stung you. It's
You've
like...
reversed your old China policy.
Sir, it's like you hold a scorpion
Yes,
in your
they
hand
have
and
stung
you...
us
Sir,
at various points. You do not have at present. If you say Mr. Modi is
Mr.
at
Dasgupta.
fault, because in 120
No.
days he hasn't been able to build the infrastructure, the capacity.
No,
the
it's
military
not a capacity issue.
which
It
should
is
have
a
been
hurry
happening in the
issue.
past. With the fact that there
No,
is no
sir.
real metal road to Tawang as yet.
No.
The fact that there are large sections
No.
which are vulnerable.
Not at all.
These are issues which are real.
Not at
and
all.
These have got to be dealt with.
You're
But
sidestepping.
today you have signaled you will not allow it.
You have-
And to my
you-
mind, that
Mr. Dasgupta,
constitutes
you
a
are-
policy advance.
But Dr.
You don't
Dasgupta...
always have to tom-tom it and shout it in news hour to say
Sir,
that policy has changed.
No, Professor,
The
one
fact
second,
is
1 second,
your
1 minute.
action is speaking louder than words.
Mr. Dasgupta, it is not about, whether we have the capacity or not. Simple question is this, and I put this to Professor Chenoy, who it appears has been silenced by the debate, but I'd like to go back to him anyway. The question is this, it's not about capacity. We are all asking one question, what is your great hurry? You want to go to Japan, then you want to have a meeting with the Australians, now you're going to go to America, and in between you also want to meet the Chinese. You want to do the game of global
The answer
diplomacy.
is the elephant in the room, China.
Yes.
The answer is the elephant
Sure.
in the room. It's called China.
And when that elephant
That's
in the
the
room,
reason.
and when that
That's
elephant,
why you're
when
in a
that,
hurry.
yes,
That's why you cannot
Yes,
waste
but you
time.
need-
You've
but-
answered it yourself.
Yes,
You've raised
no,
the question.
no,
You've answered it or not?
you say, okay,
No,
so you...
yes, you have
No,
answered it.
you are wrong, Dr. Dasgupta. I'll tell you why. You say elephant in the room, you don't make the elephant in the room enter...
The point is,
Dr.
that look,
Dasgupta.
if you've got a script, depart from it.
Dr.
If you've got a script today,
Dr. Dasgupta, I have a simple question. I feel it's very sad that the Minister of State for Home tries to clarify on behalf of the Chinese. No, 1 minute, please. You ask anyone tonight, and let me complete, anyone tonight, how do you remember the BJP before the elections? Oh, we're going to be tough with the Chinese. And people used to say, we're going to be tough on the economy. We're going to be tough with the Pakistanis. And we are going to be tough with the Chinese. Now, after the Xi Jinping statement, which says they should be prepared for a regional war, it gives, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson gives no certain assurances that statement about a regional war did not mean India. In fact, the Chinese statement, when he's asked, he says, you say Indian media are asking this question, which is whether the regional war is a reference to India, but I believe that this may be a wild guess. In other words, the Chinese give no certain reassurances that the Chinese president, when he spoke of a war, did not mean India. But our Minister of State for Home, Mr. Kiran Rijiju, immediately gives a clarification. No, the Chinese are not talking about India. I mean, this is exactly the reverse of what you said you would be before the election in terms of the BJP. I was going to Professor Chenoy, but I think the Congress spokesperson who did not answer my question on Rahul Gandhi is coming back.
I've not had a
No, why Professor Chenoy? No, Professor Chenoy, please first. No, Professor Chenoy is taking that. Yeah. Professor Chenoy, please. No.
The first point I want to make is, make some quick points.
Go ahead.
First point is that there should be an attempt by the NDA to have a national consultation on China, so we have a cohesive policy. It should be a policy which will contain Chinese aspirations. And as far as the regional comment was of President Xi, I think he was referring to the South China Seas, where obviously he would not.
But why are we explaining
with
for
India's
them?
link with Vietnam.
But why are we explaining
but
for
I'm
them? Since
saying
when we did become a
but because
spokesperson for the
we
Chinese?
are also involved. We are also involved, Arnab. He doesn't like us linking up with Vietnam.
Of course he said that, Mr. Dasgupta.
He just said...
He doesn't. Can he dictate our foreign policy?
But why are we speaking for him? Why is Kiran Rijiju saying the Chinese premier's comment is not for India?
Who has allowed foreign policy to be dictated? Not the intellectuals, not the sinologists.
China doesn't
It
like
is
us
the
going to
politicians
Japan.
who've allowed
China
this
doesn't like the
dictation.
president
Arnab, can I
visiting
come in,
Vietnam.
please?
China doesn't like Australia selling uranium. So what? So what? We don't like a lot of
But
things about
that is
China.
why we must
Arnab,
look at this policy as a national policy. All parties must unite. It is not a question of BJP scoring points against Congress, Congress scoring points against someone else. And it's precisely because of this partisan
someone should
politics
break off their fraternal
that
links with the Communist Party of
this
China.
mess took place in the current visit of the president. We have to be much more nationalistic, though cool-headed in this question.
Well, it appears.
Otherwise, we
It
will
appears to me.
fight each other on China.
It appears tonight it will not be. Yes, Sudhanshu Trivedi. No, Sudhanshu Trivedi is coming in. I have 1 minute left. 1 minute left. It appears to me we are going to have to be really slow and cautious with the Chinese here on. Yes, Sudhanshu Trivedi. You know, hurry is not an issue. This you're not.
I didn't get a chance. Please let me make my
All
point.
of us
Please. I just want to
who
say
are
one thing.
standing-
National security is paramount. But you know, today, after the Chinese envoy was, summoned and by the MEA, you have enormous build-up in Tibet. This policy is not working.
Yeah.
We have to do something different.
Right.
Today, you see that build-up in Tibet. This is very grave. Let's not do partisan
said
politics.
Rahul Gandhi,
National security.
that's the real
What
departure.
are we doing different?
That would be a
What are
good
we doing
way to
different?
Is because you did build roads. And they also built...
Last word to the BJP tonight. He hasn't spoken. Yes, Sudhanshu Trivedi. Last word.
Going to help you today. See the enormous build-up in Tibet.
Those
That's the ground
who
reality.
didn't
This is
have
the-
guts
this
to
is the
call
ground
to
reality
Chinese
today.
envoy
They have
are
built
now
roads to
today
the
telling us a
Karakoram
lesson.
Pass.
And second thing,
You see
all
the
who are
intelligence
sitting
report.
here are learned
Please,
enough
please,
to understand
please tell the
that if
BJP
there is a conflict
spokesperson
between India
about
and
the
China, it is
intelligence
not
report.
going to be the regional
It has been
conflict.
put on your
It is going to be a global conflict.
Arnab, I want
Third
to
thing, I would like to counter what Mr. Raja has said, that Chinese aggression is because our government
There
is
is going
trying
to
to be
be no
close towards
military conflict.
Washington. I would like to remind
Arnab,
that it is the BJP government.
please let them
which
understand
opposed
how
nuclear
grave are
deal.
these intelligence
It is
reports
our
being
government-
shown on your channel.
I think it will be. I think one small observation.
for the BJP
You see,
government,
in 100 days.
just in 90
No, like the Modi government says.
against the wishes of
The Modi
American
government says that in 100 days, don't expect us to change India. Don't expect us to change the economy and change everything from poverty to everything in 100 days. I think nobody is expecting them to change diplomacy in 100 days. But to repeat the mistakes of the previous government will be wrong. And to go from the frying pan to the fire is also not good, because Modi is traveling to the US. He must be very careful that he doesn't go from the frying pan to the fire, that he deals with the Americans also with a fair amount of circumspection. Thank you very much for joining me on this debate on the News Hour tonight. Thank you.